and welcome to the Ziabo Studio Buzz podcast. I am Doug and I am coming to you from the beautiful but currently suffering, as you probably all know, desert of New Mexico. Wildfires, way too many wildfires. We're all praying for some moisture, some rain, and I don't know. Hopefully it will happen soon and help with this current situation. I am filming today again in I call it my indoor studio, my computer room, my desk, my writing, my inky place, my fabric sewing machine, multi craft room, where I do all kinds of things except for dyeing. That's the other studio. Yeah, I actually migrated today. I migrated from outside where it got too windy. When I started filming, I realized that the wind picked up, and then I migrated to the living room, and then my husband came and promised me he was going to be really noisy. So I decided that's not gonna work, and now he helped me move in here, and hopefully that's gonna be fine with the door closed. Yeah, and him bagging his dishes in the kitchen. Yes, I hope you're all well. I hope you have been well, and I hope you've enjoyed some fun knits in the past weeks since I saw you last. My husband and I have gotten up to some fun stuff. We actually traveled. We were in Texas for a few days. We were in El Paso and then also at Big Bend National Park, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous park. However, it was already too late in the year and it was way too hot for my taste. And I almost got, I think I got a heat stroke one day where I was then kind of like just laying down in the car while he explored a little more, and I kept drinking and drinking and drinking. But I did the whole rookie thing that everybody tells you not to do. We walked in the middle of the day. Super stupid. However, Big Bend National Park, not one of the more popular ones, however, really beautiful, and lots of gorgeous hikes that you can do there. Don't go when it's hot. Check the temperature, do your homework. Yes, and where do I start? Yes, the car. We went by car, so you probably can imagine that there was a lot of knitting that I could do because my husband usually drives. And then after that, when we got back, it was first Mother's Day, and we were lucky enough to have a guest. Debbie visited us, and also we hosted our first kind of like, I want to call it a party, but a party sounds like 50 people, which we didn't have. But we did a little Mother's Day brunch with a group of my knitters, and also this time, for the first time, invited the husbands again, and that was very special and very fun, and everybody enjoyed it, and you could tell that it was just nice, yeah, to be together again in person and to share the friendship, most of all, actually. Yeah. So that was Texas, Mother's Day, Debbie visiting, and then I had my son's birthday, which many of you probably saw on Instagram. That was just yesterday. He turned 23. How can that happen, my baby? I'm wondering, I have my favorite picture with him up there, but I think it's just out of frame and would be too small anyways. But it was just really, really a fun afternoon that we got to spend with him, and I baked everybody's favorite pie that we love so much, the Mariechenkuchen, a recipe that I shared a few episodes ago, and so we had a great afternoon, had dinner together, and just enjoyed being together. We just missed my daughter, who is still in San Diego, kind of finishing up her semester and then getting ready to pack up and move back over the summer before she has to go back in August. Yes. And I want to start with showing you something that will make you laugh, because you're going to say, what, you made this last year, Doc? Why are you showing us this shawl yet again? Because it is my bubbles of joy. And I know many of you will probably remember this. It's just one of those bright, colorful, giant shawls where it's extremely, I mean, so much fun to combine different colors and like smaller amounts or larger amounts of yarn. And I talked about it before as I made it, but now I had taken this on display. I put it on display at Fiber Arts Fiesta, where I was a vendor just recently, and I still had one thread hanging that wasn't woven in for a special reason, because I had always wanted to add one pom-pom there. And since the shawl was out, even though it's summer and I won't wear it now, I finally made that little pom-pom and added it to my shawl. Isn't it cute? Tiny pom-poms are the best. Check it out. Ooh, isn't it so cute? Yes, love it. Yes, and now I think I'm going to send this shawl to my yarn store here in Albuquerque for display, because it's just such a nice example for how you can combine different colors, and also like maybe a leftover from another project, and just pick one or two solid colors and combine them with variegated yarns to get a stunning and gorgeous result. Yes. That was just one of my tiny things that got done. How long did that take me? Like 15 minutes. I used a CD cover to wrap around the yarn, and then I tied it on one side. No, I did tie it in the middle. I slid it off that cover, tied it in the center, and of course my little bits of yarn were still like this long, so I had to chop it down quite a bit. But that's also fun. I love doing that. Love cutting around those pom-poms. Yes, and that was that. And then one of the things that I finished on our trip were my mitts, my upcoming new design. And in the meantime, I've had testing kind of started. I call it testing, but there are also friends who are super good with the knitting lingo. And I'm talking about Debbie and about my friend Lauren. Both of them are so good with their knitting, and also with their use of knitting language, much better than me. I started only after I came to America 24 years ago. Slowly I started. But so sometimes stuff like this really gives me trouble. It's funny because this was meant as a kind of like a little small pattern as a warm-up before I write the sweater pattern. Doesn't work that way, because it's really, as it turned out, hard to write. And the pattern is up. Only one of the mitts is written, and because the right one, and because the pattern is mirrored, it needs to be rewritten for the left mitt. And also I've made some adjustments, as you can see, in the way it was originally written. You have to kind of pull it and yank it, so that had to be adjusted a little bit. This one, on this one, the pattern sits much nicer on top of the hand. And I made ever so slight change on the left one on the edge, but none of these changes are very much visible. That's why I'm still keeping these two as a couple together. What I have used is my Zia Wools yarn that I'm calling yucca, even though I associate yucca with kind of like this little bit rough desert plant. The yarn is the opposite. This is soft, it has alpaca, it has silk, and it's just wonderful to work with, super cozy. I have used about 70 grams of a 4-ounce skein, so more than half is used up for this. And I knitted mine with 3mm needles. However, it will be written differently in the pattern, because I think most of you knitters out there will not be able to get gauge with the needle size that I used, as it turned out, because Debbie made a pair when she visited. No, she made one mitt when she visited, and it turned out very quickly that even though she's a firm knitter, she's not a tight knitter, but she knits firmly, and still she couldn't get the same gauge that I have. So, and we thought that's probably more what the majority of you out there is knitting like, and so we're gonna change the needle size, the required needle size for the pattern. Yeah. That is that, and there is a name for my baby. They're called not the retro ones, but the Desert Diamond mitts. The picture is probably going to change, but that's for now. Yeah. There is a lot of work that goes into a pattern, as you probably can imagine. The chart was done, but then I decided to add a second row. Even though the second row is just knit the stitches as they appear, I wanted to fill them into the chart because that will help with the thumb gusset. A lot of thoughts, but whatever, you're not interested in that. Hopefully you like this and look forward to making your own pair. Yes, and so done with these. Did I even say the needle size? I've used 3mm needles, and Debbie ended up going down to 2.5mm. Yeah. That's that. And now I'm gonna take a break to let the cat in, who's complaining outside that he's locked out. Our little Ikey. He had given up. He was gone. I don't know where he is. I couldn't find him. Okay, on to what else I have been working on. And the next thing, this was the bag, by the way, where I brought that my mitts were traveling in. And the next thing that I have worked on lives in this bag. And because I have a mini knit along going for this with a friend in Germany, with my friend Karen, I decided on this bag. So I'm like, oh yes, that's my knit along baggie. And I am talking about my Tree Peonies shawl. My lace pattern is in my beautiful Knitter's Pride, whatever you call this. And I knitted through part 2 of the chart when I was in the car. It was actually a long stretch of going, and because otherwise it's kind of not the kind of project where you want to start, stop, start, stop. You just want to keep going for a while, and that's what I did. So I'm done with section 2 of the chart, and this is where I am right now, and hopefully you can see that well. I think you can, right? Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Can't wait to get this done eventually in 100 years, because it's slow growing. I mean, that was a lot of work to get to where I am right now. And I did mean to show you the pattern, because incredibly enough, it's a free pattern. And this is how it looks like. So where am I? I'm just really up here. So much still left to do, but whatever. It's all good. We love what we do, don't we? And if you would like to see this on Ravelry, I am Paper Dag on Ravelry as well as Instagram, and I always love for you to friend me there. If I have the time, which I don't always, I love to look at what my friends are making. And yeah, I enjoy that very much. The yarn that I'm using for the Tree Peonies is a Zia Wool's lace yarn, which is called Desert Willow. And I am using 3.5 millimeter needles. Desert Willow is, and maybe you can see the little bit of fuzz, it's a non-superwash lace yarn, which has I want to say about 1,150 yard per 4-ounce skein. And this is nothing that I have in stock. However, my yarn store, the yarn store at Nob Hill, has all the colors that are currently available. They just stocked up with all of my yarns, and I'm sure if you say, dang, I want to use this lace yarn, they will be happy to help you with any kind of either shipping or whatever. Yeah. That's this project. What's next? Can you guess? I have started my third painted. I call them the painted sweaters, even though this is not going to be the name, but I'm making another one with my mini skeins. And for this one, the color theme is bold. So all the strong colors, nothing that I typically gravitate toward, but if you have it, it's nice to be able to use it. And I started off with orange because I love orange, and then I gradually changed to a lot of purples and all the darker colors. As For the other two sweaters, I start with the ribbing with 3mm needles. Then I'm using 3.5mm needles, and I don't have a certain amount of rows that I do per mini skein. I do almost have the name. I'm pretty sure I will call this the Desert Traveler. And the reason being, because when I work on this, I think a lot about colors and about how they work together, and you think all the time about what will I pick next, because this is what I have at hand right now. But you're thinking what works with this color next. And sometimes I arrange a sequence in advance, but then often I change my mind. And when I came up with the name Desert Traveler, it was because it's really that you travel from one color to the next. Which means if I have this is like a heavily blue mini skein, then the next one, even though it's mainly greens, it still has a little bit of blue that travels from here to there. And that's kind of like, that's all over the place. That's the way it is. I carry one color to the next stripe. My stripes are usually I would say a maximum of 7 rounds. Yes. So a few more inches, and in fact, I possibly may dye a little more to match, but I'm not sure. Maybe, I gotta knit up I'm gonna knit up what I have here, but then there will be colors like this that won't make it in, because this just doesn't relate enough to the other colors, or this is also too bold. This, yeah. I meant to put in this gorgeous skein that I brought home from Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival in 2018, which was a gift from Marigold Jen. I'm not sure if I hope she still dyes. I hope not. Are you still dyeing? I hope so, because this is so beautiful. Yeah, I'll see if I will eventually travel to this, which I really wanted to use in here. But stay tuned, I will let you know. So that's the Desert Traveler. And then how can I tell you? Well, sometimes ideas happen. Ideas. And that was the case here. My daughter wasn't doing so great, and she's still in San Diego, as I told you. So I thought, oh, what can I do to cheer her up? And I thought, I'm gonna make her a bag, because she keeps telling me how hip knitting and crochet is right now, and with the California beach hippie vibes. Sometimes she sends me these pictures of things. I thought, this is going to be perfect. I could not find a garment that I really liked. A long time ago, I already made her kind of like one of those bikini style tops, and she still has that and uses it. But I didn't want to do a garment because I didn't have her here. Oh, excuse me. Apparently I'm tired, which I should not be. I think it comes from talking. So I didn't want to do a garment, couldn't find anything that I thought was perfect. So I thought I'm going to make her a bag. And I grabbed this is really my favorite crochet bag, crochet book, not bag. I love this book. She is amazing, and she has all these fabulous, I mean, it's just the way the book is, the whole, I love the layout. I love the photos. It has charts and written instructions. It uses gorgeous colors for the samples and different yarn qualities. I'm going to show you upside down. And yes, I have purchased this book myself. I've owned it for many years. There's stuff like this with mohair. It's just so pretty. And like I said, for everything you get a chart, which I love, and the written instructions, which is always also great, because if you're uncertain about what that means, the way it's shown in the chart, then you have the written instructions as a reference. So great. And some years ago, I already did this. I laminated some copies where I did something like this, where I copied the picture, I copied the chart, and if I thought it necessary, also the wording. So it's all more accessible for me. And this has been one of my favorite designs that made it onto a laminated card. And that's what I've been working with, not with the book. And that's the inside. And let me turn it around, because I am, as you can see, in the process of weaving it in the ends. And of course, I cannot slack on it, since I want her to have this very soon. So I did the 4 squares individually. I connected them with a technique that my friend Melody, she told me something about a blanket and how she connected the squares. Mel, I have no idea what you did and how you did that. You're going to have to show me that, because I'm sure whatever I did to connect my squares is not what you did. However, I did not mind, because it's very flat. It does not give me a ridge. Actually, I like it better how it looks like from the inside, but whatever. I'm lazy, so I didn't change anything. So I went to my stash. I pulled out the bin with the cotton yarns, and then I just picked fun colors for the squares to have them different. I also wanted to use up small amounts of cotton yarn. For the back, I just did, I think it's called double crochet, that stitch, right? And yet again, I used up various colors. And as soon as I had the measurement where I was up to here, to my 4 elements, or squares, whatever you want to call them, that's when at that point, I connected the squares. I hadn't even done that before. And what did I do first? I first crocheted around the edge, and that is single crochet. And then I did, yet again, single crochet around the top edge, again using up leftovers, but also trying to make it fit with everything. I was a little bit uncertain where I wanted a button, but I did want a button, because I thought if you use the bag somewhere where you have your purse in there, you want to be able to close it. And so I thought back and forth button in the back or front, but I decided on the front because I thought I'm going to have a loop here if I do the button in the back. And I thought that's stupid if you don't close it. However, if you just have a button here and you don't close it, that's going to be fine. I have finished the strap to wear it crossbody, but I have not sewn it on. I think I will just do a provisional connection to the bag. But the next steps are really to weave in my ends, and then I would also make a lining, maybe even with a zippered section. I think I will do that. If it kind of she's probably gonna go with her dad to Disney and Universal Studios. These two. That's their thing. And so I'm thinking, if she's going to carry a purse, if she wants to carry this, that's just going to be a little nicer with crowds and many people. And I'm thinking safe, and because I have been at her age, I think it was in the subway metro in Paris that somebody stole my wallet out of my purse. So I'm always kind of sad about that. Whatever. I'm just thinking it would be nice to have a zippered compartment in here. And I will let you know how this goes. I have finished this in 2 days. And yes, 2 days. And yesterday, then I started to weave in the ends, and I still have a lot of ends, as you saw in the beginning. And I, of course, with every change of color, you have 2 ends, and I was trying to make it easy for myself, and I started on this side, and now the craziness is gonna happen on this side. Yeah, but this is all going to be fun. I have not decided on a fabric for the lining, but it will have to be something that is a solid color that looks the same on both sides, because of course there's some big holes in this pattern. Yeah. Super excited about this. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I'm going to make another one, but I will not be mad if she says she doesn't like it. If she says it's too colorful, I'm going to say, hey, give it. I'll take it. I also thought that I have a few larger. I have a few thicker cottons. And so I thought that would be cool just to have a mini purse, right? With a strap. And I've done that many, many, many years ago. I feel like it was for my son, for his camera, where I had just one square. Can't remember how I did the back. But I also gave it this more rectangular shape by doing a few rounds on top. Yeah. Yep, that is this gorgeous bag. And by the way, with the single crochet on top, you can probably see that. I think it kind of brought it a little bit more together. It was nothing that I did on purpose. I think it was really just because of the single crochet and how it's worked. It's just pulling together a little bit more. That's fine. I actually like this. Yep, that's the bag for me girl, and I don't think she watches. That's why you get to see it before it's finished. What next? I think this is everything I've made in the past weeks, and all that there is left is what is new in the shop. And I brought my bins here. Oh, wrong side. They're on the other side. Oh, I did bring this one. This is not my real yarn bowl because mine is, of course, open here. But if you love this, Sarah, who is Southwest Sunflower Pottery, she does these custom and she will ship them to you, and she usually, with a Southwest theme, she uses the turquoise and this rusty burnt orange color, and I'm so in love with these. I have a good one where this is open, and this one, yeah. That's where I have my little ball for the sweater. Okay, let's move quickly through the shop news. I decided I'm going to bring you everything because sometimes the yarns look so differently on pictures, and I noticed that especially with the yucca colors. I had the hardest time ever taking photos, and I feel like they're still not 100% right, but they are in the shop now. And so I thought I'm just going to go through everything, hopefully fairly quickly. And I hope you're going to enjoy what you see and maybe find something that you want or need. There are 2 skeins of mini sets, both a little bit different. And here is Honeysuckle, Blue Rose, which is actually probably given already. I think a friend contacted me. She wants it. I have 2 of that. Then I have the Summer Rose. And the reason that all these have the same name is I have a Winter Rose. Do I have that here? Oh, yes. These are the roses, and all of these are dyed in a similar technique, combined speckles and pour technique. Yeah. Winter Rose, Blue Rose, and Summer Rose. And then I have 2 skeins left that are dyed for assigned pooling. There is a pattern out there that's called the float. I think there's a float shawl and a float something else. And this is dyed to work, hopefully, for that pattern. I can't say it works, but from what I know, it will work great for that pattern. Then I have 1 Desert Rat. Come on, go sharp. And all of these honeysuckle. I have 1 Hi, I'm Annie, inspired by Annie Oakley. I have 1 Angel Wings. That's the one where I put some aside for myself. And this is, wait a minute. This is the Salty Cowgirl. Whoops. Lots of blues with a bit of purple and pink. And this is the Salty Cowboy. Similar, but no pink, no purple. That's the honeysuckle, and then here comes the decay yucca. That's the pink that I use, and none of these have designated names because when they are gone, they're gone for good, because I had a special discounted yarn. That's why this is fairly inexpensive in my shop, and so I can never repeat these. The yarn is gone, and all of the colors are one of a kinds. One of a kind pink, one of a kind lime green, one of a kind pale blue, and some of them have slight speckles, and I think this is one, yes. Pale blue. This is, I think, what did I call this? One of a kind pale. The other one is pale peach. I think this one is pale pink. Just one skein. And this I call one of a kind pale peach. And one of a kind yellow. It's kind of like a very warm yellow, as you can see. And then we have 3 more. This green, which also has a hint of speckles. This purple, which also has a hint of speckles. And this green, which has, as far as I remember, no speckles. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Hopefully hopefully I've inspired you, or are you making something fun that you want to share with me? Send me a message on Ravelry or Instagram, or leave a comment below, and I'm planning eventually an episode where I show all of my sweaters, but I decided not to do that now because it's already getting warm, and so I'm saving that up for the beginning of fall. And in the meantime, I hope you are all very well. I hope you're all healthy and doing good and happy in your life and enjoying spring and the start into the summer. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Happy knitting.